Hello and welcome to another week of chess openings with me, Slag, as we look over all the different openings that you can play as a player in the game of chess to help you improve your ELO ranking moving forward. Have you ever wondered what is a really weird defense that for black that throws white off guard and actually isn't too terrible of an opening? Me too, and I found the St. George defense. Now before I go any further, if you get anything out of this video, please like the YouTube video. It helps me understand what kind of content that you, the viewer, likes so that I can keep providing that value to you on a continual. So to start off with the St. George defense, it's very simple. If white can do whatever the heck they want, they can go to e4, we will always go with a6, really throwing everyone for a loop there. A lot of the times white will counter with moving the pawn up there to d4. And we just push up our pawn over here to b5. Now you're thinking, what is the advantage of this? And honestly, it's so you can just fianchetto the bishop and push your other development pieces forward while also having a good queenside defense. So let's look over what a common variation for the opening looks like. After moving to b5, white will use a traditional development move of getting the bishop out to, let's say, d3. The next move that you're going to want to play as white is to get this fianchettoed bishop out and really attack this long diagonal here, because they're going to want to push this pawn forward, and a lot of times in a lot of games, you're going to be able to get this rook for free because they're going to forget about it, push this pawn up, and there's no way to defend the rook whatsoever. Now, let's say they don't mess up that pawn move right away, but instead continue to develop with like a knight to f3 move. Well, the next thing that you want to do in this defense is push up this e6 pawn to defend any pawn advance here. Because if they do want to push up and exchange these pawns here, black controls the center of the board and is creating attacking options on this diagonal still, while also being able to just retreat back right here. So the next thing that white might be able to do here after we move up this e6 pawn is they might just do the normal development move of castling. Now that takes away obviously the attack on the rook there, but it doesn't mean that we're in a worse off position. We can just develop our pieces. Now in this setup I had, what I like to do a lot when I play this is push up my pawn over there to c5 to break up the center, while also allowing me to develop the knight and having this defense with the bishop here. A lot of times they would take, you can take on the pawn and continue this threat here and then develop the knight right after. In this game, white moved up their pawn over here to c3. We just continue developing and there's a lot of different moves. Like from here on out, the opening is kind of done. You just need to keep developing your pieces. White can move here, we can move up our knight here and continue some lines of attacks while breaking up in the center, getting the bishop out and castling. Like for all of the silliness that the St. George defense looks like, it actually worked out pretty well for me when I was playing the stream. So I say just give it a few tries, get used to it, throw off your opponents, because especially at the lower level ELO rankings, they're not gonna know what the heck is hitting them and how to even combat this. But I'm sure that at the higher levels, people that have studied this opening can tear it apart, but at the lower levels where I'm at the 1100 rating, there is nothing that anybody really did to really throw me off balance. If you just play positional chess, you're gonna win a good amount of your games. And so that is the St. George defense. Very rudimentary, very fun to play, and it's sure to throw your opponent off kilter. Next week, we're gonna be going over, how do you say it? How do you say it? All right, how to pronounce Alekhine?
Advanced, Carl. Alekhine defense. Alekhine defense.
This is a classic, Alekhine.
The Alekhine defense. So we'll have that video here once it's up and ready to go, and we hope to see you soon and in the future. Thanks. Bye.